After nearly 4 months of calm, warlike situations have started to brew again between the two enemy nations, the US and Iran. Once more, a state of mistrust has been reached, and this time, the US may not act as a middleman as it did in the last conflict, which occurred in mid-June. Instead, a direct confrontation between both nations might take place. What happens here doesn't just stay here. It shakes markets, geopolitics, and the balance of power in the Middle East. Right now, tensions are rising between Iran and the United States as Tehran seizes a tanker in these very waters. But is this just another show of strength, or could it lead to a wider confrontation? But what happened exactly that is making such rumors of war fill the air? Let us understand the full context. On November 14, 2025, Iranian forces intercepted a Marshall Islands-flagged oil tanker named the Talara in the Strait of Hormuz. According to a U.S. defense official, the ship was turned into Iranian territorial waters. A U.S. Navy MQ-4C Triton drone was reportedly circling overhead for hours observing the operation. According to a private security firm, Ambry, 3 small boats approached the tanker during the incident. The tanker's manager, Columbia Ship Management, later said they had lost contact with the vessel, which was carrying high-sulfur gasoline. The UK Maritime Trade Operations, UKMTO, described the event as possible state activity, implying this was a deliberate state-sponsored activity. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet issued a statement calling Iran's actions contrary to international law and a threat to maritime security and the global economy. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just any waterway, it's a global choke point. Even the threat of closing or disrupting it causes ripples throughout the energy markets. Iran has long threatened to close the strait as leverage. For the U.S., keeping this waterway open is not just about maintaining oil flow, it's about regional influence and control. This incident doesn't come in a vacuum. The Cold War between the U.S. and Iran is not new. The U.S. had already directly attacked Iran this year alone in June. After the ceasefire, the Cold War never ended, as the U.S. had ordered humiliating sanctions upon Iran. This was all that happened this year, and not to forget the decades of Cold War that were already going on between the two nations. Nearly 3 weeks back, an Iranian vessel was attacked while it was reaching Yemen. No one knew for certain who was behind the attack, but it was most certain that the U.S. was behind it. Iran has been increasingly vocal about striking back or retaliating for those attacks, raising the risk of future confrontations. Meanwhile, shipping traffic through Hormuz has reportedly slowed down according to trade groups, a warning sign that commercial operators are hedging against risk. But why did Iran take such a dangerous step against the U.S.? It may be because by seizing the Talara, Iran sends a strong message. We can still act boldly. And it's a warning not just to the U.S., but to other regional players that Tehran remains a maritime power. Retaliatory or not, this move is certainly not going to go down well with the U.S. The U.S. in response could increase its naval presence or even conduct strikes. If things spiral, this could become a regional showdown involving not just Iran and the U.S., but other Gulf states, possibly even involving European or Asian powers who rely on Hormuz a blockade or serious disruption, could cause energy prices to spike globally, destabilizing markets. So it is clear that this move is going to change politics not only in the Middle Eastern region, but also around the world. This is how important the strait is for the whole world economics. It could also be that Iran might demand concessions such as easing of sanctions, diplomatic recognition, and security guarantees, and then quietly de-escalate. And if that is not Iran's plan, the international players dependent on Hormuz like China and India might pressure Iran to step back to avoid economic fallout. But what if the US doesn't agree to the demands of Iran? What is it that makes it more hostile towards Iran? The US could deploy more ships, drones, or aircraft to the Gulf to show strength. It can also work with allies like European states, Gulf monarchies, or China to isolate Iran or bring it to negotiate. Further tightening sanctions or threatening them could coerce Iran, but this also risks pushing Tehran further into a corner. Indeed, the Talara incident indicates that confrontation remains a possibility. Iran is willing to use maritime force. The US is watching, and it knows the stakes are high. But if all these options fail, there is a possibility that a full-blown war will take place between these two nations this time. For now, the world holds its breath, because in the Strait of Hormuz, even the smallest ripple can become a tidal wave. That's all for today. If you found the video informative, please like it and subscribe to the channel. Jazakum Allahu khairan.